Okay, so this is part 2 when I decided to start homeschooling my daughter. Now, keep in mind, she was diagnosed with severe autism, which is now called level 3. The doctor actually, at the time that diagnosed her, called it classic autism, severe classic autism. And she was quote unquote technically nonverbal this whole time. And I thought, let's just give it a try. So I decided to homeschool her instead of leaving her to the public school system. Now, I'm not saying anyone else should do that or that might be best in your best interest. I'm just saying what I had to do and what worked for us. So Dory was still going to the Autism Foundation, but the therapy that she was getting there was the ABA therapy, and now everybody kept telling me, don't do ABA therapy, it's going to make her robotic, it doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And so I stressed my concerns. She was getting sensory integration therapy. She was getting speech therapy, but I was kind of, not really sure about the ABA therapy. Well, there was a board certified behavior analyst named Teresa Martin that decided to start her own practice. And she said, let me see Dory. I'll try to get it approved through your insurance, and let me see her and see if I can make some progress with her using ABA therapy. But she said, now I'm not going to be using it for behavior. She said, I'm going to use ABA therapy for skill acquisition in academics. And I was like, that's interesting. And she gave me some books to take home. I'm going to show you what they are in a minute. She gave me some books to take home and then started offering me training. And then I did some online as well, to get trained in order to implement this therapy that she was going to be teaching me. And again, she was a board certified behavior analyst. All right. And she had a master's in education. Well, she left the Autism Foundation, like I said, and started her own practice. Now, this is the big book of ABA programs. It's Autism Skill Acquisition Program. So what I'm showing you is not about trying to fix behaviors, okay? Because I have a whole other process of doing that. This is the assessment book, the Assessment of Basic Language and Learning Skills. That's the scoring instructions and IEP development guide. And this one is the protocol. Okay. Now, that's a lot of stuff to try to get into all at once, but I'm just going to briefly go through it with you. This is my daughter's IEP that I created using these books. Okay. And all the skills, current level, objective, and criteria. Let me turn this and give you an example. This one says, Dory is able to complete inset puzzles and put together 8-piece puzzles in a frame and without a frame. When given irregularly shaped non-interlocking puzzle pieces, Dory will correctly juxtapose the pieces to form a picture. Okay? And it just goes on and on and on and on with goals that we have to try to meet for her skill acquisition. Now, that's what this big book of ABA programs do. And I'm going to show you where it says here. It says, an ABA program and IEP goal for every teachable step in the ABLES are. And that's what these books are. ABLES are. Okay? So every teachable step. This shows you, I'm just going to open it here. It says, using when manding. Okay? Objective. Baseline and teaching procedures. So it gives you the actual teaching procedures for that. It says F25. Okay? So this is for skill F25. And it tells you how to teach it. So we're going to go in here. Let's see here. It's the wrong book. Sorry. We're going to find F25 in here. This is A. We're going to go into this book and we're going to find F25. F25. Request information using when. The student will ask questions to obtain information. Now, obviously, this is 0. My child has not met this yet. Even though she's 17 now, she has not met that skill yet because that's, again, she does say words and some phrases and can finish songs and everything, but it's taken a long time to get her to do that. She can write, Matter of fact, that's what she's doing right now, is writing. She taught herself how to write cursive. So she's sitting next to me right now writing. She loves to write, but comprehension of that is a whole other thing that we're working on. So let me go here. I'm going to show you the tracking, the skill tracking that I did. Where did those go? I'll find them. Skill trackers, where are you? Okay, here I found them. Okay, so this is 2014 to 2015. Now, I've gotten her potty trained. She can write. She can say a lot of words. She can finish songs. When you start a song, she'll finish part of it. She can spell, and we've done, expressive and receptive labeling with pictures, and she can say it, spell it, and write it. But as far as like her saying complete sentences and having, joint conversations back and forth and like the who, what, whens, and why, she's not there yet, but she has made a ton of progress. And so this is a assessment of basic language and learning skills, skill tracking system. Okay. And the program that I've just showed you, I am going to make a more in-depth video on how to use all this and like get myself organized so I can explain to you, because right now I'm so used to using it, it can probably come across confusing because I'm trying to like show you a lot at once. So I can break it down into more understandable topics when I go to make more formal videos in the future. But here you can see this is 2014, 2015. And I'm just going to kind of lay these out. And then this one, you can see the differences in the progress that she's made. Okay? The white is what she cannot do. And the colored in part is the skills that she's reached. So this was 2014-2015. This one is 2016, 2017. So you see the progress. And look at this. And then look at all of that. So you see the difference. And then this category. This is receptive language. She went from just those to all of that. And it goes that way. Look at this. Look at those. Whoa. So you see labeling. I've worked hard on the labeling, and this really helps with her ability to process her environment, understand pictures in books. And just on that note, you want to use real life pictures, not cartoonish pictures. Kids on the more mild to moderate end of the spectrum might be okay, could use the fictional or like cartoonish pictures, the animated ones, but taking real life pictures helps a lot. And also, let me just backtrack. Before I started doing this system, while she was in the process of working with the BCBA and doing this whole program, the ABLES program, or the ASAP program, which is the Autism Skill Acquisition Program, before all this started, I had a whiteboard at home with dry erase markers, constantly singing to her, constantly writing the alphabet. And then I went around and took pictures of everything. I took pictures of her therapist. I took pictures of her toothbrush, of her bed, of her snacks, of the park, of her favorite place to eat, all of her favorite foods, her bedroom, the bathtub, everything you can imagine. I took pictures of it. And I made a little booklet of all those pictures, and I also Velcroed those pictures all throughout the house so that she could take the picture and put it in my hand to communicate what she wanted. And that helped a lot as well. And she started writing the alphabet. She knows all her shapes and colors and all this. So anyway, that's 2014, 2015. This is 2016, 2017. And then even more. Look at this. This is 2018, 2019. And the growth that she's done. So I do these basically like at the end of every 2 years, I'll do one. I need to plug my phone in real quick before it dies, so all this that I went through don't go to waste. Hold on just a second. I'm plugging my phone in. Oop, there we go. So anyway, I've kept track of all of this through the skill tracking one. I have, let's see, this is 220 and 221 again, and there's multiple pages. So in all these areas, and I'll just tell you the categories in which we're tracking. We have cooperation and reinforcer effectiveness, visual performance, receptive language, motor imitation, vocal imitation, requests, labeling, intraverbals, spontaneous vocalization. And we have syntax and grammar, play and leisure, social interaction, group instruction, classroom routines, generalized responding, reading, and math. And then on the third page, she's met all these. She's really good at these. Writing, spelling, dressing, eating, grooming, toileting, gross motor, and fine motor. So remember, the black means she's met all these goals. The white ones mean she hasn't. Okay? So I've kept track of all those since 2014, 2015. And then here's some other things that I create. So I have the entire medical history and autism intervention for her that I've prepared. It goes from, this one goes from 2016 to 2017. And then I updated it. See next page for update from 2017 to 2022, which I've updated it here to where we're at today. So I keep that updated. Then I have medical provider archive for both my kids. Dory is the one that's autistic, Jaden isn't, but these are just an overview of the places in which the doctors they've seen for primary care. And this is the intervention team and specialists that my daughter has had this far. And then we have behavioral issues and intervention. I keep these up to date. These are the last since 2018. And then once they get like 5 or 6 years old, I retire those into my filing. And then these are the most recent. So these were her behavioral issues in 2018, 2019. And these are her behavioral issues now. So she's made a lot of improvement in that. This is her lesson plan. So the goals obviously goes with this big binder of IEP programs. And then this is lesson plans carried over from the previous year. So we have the ABLES IEP, the Learn to Read, Write, Spell, Speech, Vocal Imitation and Recognition, Math, Addition and Subtraction, Receptive and Expressive Language and Labeling. That's ongoing. She knows like over 200 words now, but we're always adding on to that list. Animals, Sounds and Recognition, Swimming, Art and Music, Social Play, DIR Floor Time, NET, Natural Environment Training, which I'm always doing, ABC Data, Behavioral Intervention. I'll show you that form in a second. Telling time, days of weeks and months. She knows how to write all of her days of weeks and months, but telling time and like the actual, like being on schedule and teaching her how to recognize the actual time is an ongoing thing. Emotions, American Sign Language, daily visual schedules. Again, use real pictures. I try to minimize sign language. We use some basic sign language for like, more, eat, stuff like that. But she can say those words on her own now. Prepositions, big, little, yes, no. Touch sequence, count out, patterns and sorting. 3-step verbal directions, action verbs, requests and interverbals, function, feature, and class. Personal info, verbal discrimination, library and community trips, gardening, cooking and chores, hygiene, and grooming. So that's just an idea of all the things in which are ongoing or are new skills being added. And then for here we have ABC data sheet. And this is the new one that I printed for this, but you put your antecedent, your behavior, and your consequence. And then the possible function, meaning attention, access to items, activities, escape, sensory. And so you monitor. So when you have a problem behavior, you start watching her and putting like, okay, what happened before? What was the behavior? And then what was the consequence? And it'll help you kind of track. So let's see. Yeah, so at the top it says record each instance of one behavior as well as the antecedent, what happened right before the behavior, the consequence, what happened right after the behavior, and what the possible function of that behavior was. What outcome did it achieve for the child or student? Okay, so I used that. And then this is just kind of the overview of other things like reintroducing the VB map, the DRI floor time, the natural environment training, the play project, and PECs. They all kind of work together, and I use different techniques and skills from all of these different interventions. So it's very complex, and I do appreciate people asking, what is your journey? Because it's been a long one. It's very comprehensive and complex. I've worked many, many years to, as I said, she's 17. I've worked many, many years to try and, keep her at least making progress. It's not been perfect, but she has definitely made progress, and I'm super, super happy for her. So look at her just writing away. Are you writing, Sissy? Yeah, are you writing? That's so pretty. Yeah. What's your name? Dory, yeah. How old are you?
16.
You're 16. You're going to be 17 in July, aren't you?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
July 29.
July 29th. That's right. You're doing so good. Look at her writing. She taught herself cursive. That's so pretty. You have better handwriting than a lot of people, Dory.
Yeah.
You're doing so good.
Yeah.
I love you. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned for part 3. I am going to try to get myself a little more organized to make some more formal videos so that I can really outline the whole process of what I've went through and how I've done it and just how she's made the progress the way that she has. Yeah, so I hope that's been helpful so far.